Hello, hello. It's been a while. So I felt like talking about this like for just a few minutes. And people who still talking about other folks who took the you know what, you know, the you know what in 2021. Okay. Um the jibby, right? Um I still hear people because they don't understand that they are a part of a collective consciousness. Um talking about, oh, if you took this and that, then you do this. Now, some people, warn people in love. Don't get me wrong. The people who there have been some people who I've heard to report that things happen in their bodies. Okay, so yeah, that happened. But also, I want to tell you something. So I was during 2020, I was living in Palm Desert, and when this whole thing broke out with the you know what going around, I decided not to work in healthcare facilities. So I'm an occupational therapist. Now I work as a full-time occupational therapist. Now back then, I just decided to let that go for a little while, and it was hard to do home health. That's because I didn't hardly know anybody. I was new to the area, so it was hard to, you know, uh, find home health areas that was hiring. So I didn't have to go inside these buildings, inside of these healthcare facilities, and so I decided to stay out of it because um, it started to get frantic, and I was working in Palm Springs for 3 months from February to May, something like that. And the lockdown, I think, happened in March. Maybe March or April is when the lockdown might have happened for about 3 weeks. And I just saw how crazy people started getting, and it just started getting everybody. People was in a lot of fear. It was too much going on. I had too much going on with me. Inwardly, I had too much going on to deal with that kind of stuff. I wasn't afraid of the virus itself. I understood what the virus was about because I don't have the same beliefs as a lot of people have. I understood, I always saw that the virus was a computer virus. I always saw it like that. But people come with too much baggage. And when that happened, a lot of their shadows started showing up and their fears and all this craziness just with people. And I had to leave because I had stuff going on inwardly with myself, and I cannot deal with folks in coming with their hysteria, right, and all this stuff going on. And so I decided to stay out of it, and I worked with Lyft, driving people around. I worked with Lyft. I made less money, but I'm telling you, I was at a lot of peace. Even though I made less money, I was at more peace mentally. Okay, I was at more peace mentally, and I barely heard anything of it because people who rode with me barely talked about it. They for the most part, they most of the time they were quiet. I mean, they still wore their face masks or whatever, but other than that, they were quiet. And so I didn't know what was going on because I stayed out of the areas where I didn't even keep up with it because I didn't work in buildings, you know. And but here's what I want to say. This is what I'm getting to. While I started talking about people who keep talking about others who have taken this thing, right? Let me tell you what somebody told me. This is why I was getting to the part I started driving Lyft around that time. It was a guy that they have people to go around to offer the jibby to people. And he said they don't need everybody to agree. They just need a certain percentage of people. And once they get certain percentage of people in a certain area, then their job is accomplished. So they don't need to get everybody to agree to it. They just need to get a certain number of people, a certain percentage. He said a certain percentage. Why did he need a certain percentage? Now, he probably didn't know why. He probably didn't know why. I knew why, even at that time. Because we are a part of a collective consciousness. And in that area, Palm Desert, Palm Springs, or wherever, you don't have to get the jibby jobs. If you under a collective consciousness where at least 75% of the people got the jibby jobs, it don't matter if you didn't get it. You're part of that collective consciousness in that area. You are part of that collective consciousness. And you are connected to that collective consciousness, whether you got it or not. So I heard somebody saying, yeah, when you get the jibby jobs, it's easier to, for CERN or whatever to manipulate them. Yeah, but if you are mixed in with the collective consciousness that got that, even if you did not get it, and I'm just saying, I'm not saying whether this thing is dangerous or not. I'm not going to speak on it. I'm not going to do it, right? But I'm talking about the people who spoke on it. I'm talking about the people who spoke on it. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. Maybe their consciousness, maybe they could be more manipulated because whatever they got, according to some people, not according to myself, according to some people on YouTube and online, say that this will, cap you consciously, and this would allow them to manipulate you with CERN or whatever. Okay, but you better make sure that you far away from those people though, because it would be just like you got it too, because you're mixed in that collective consciousness. So it'd be just like you got it. Okay. Um, Even with the cloud, like I saw this thing with the cloud, what they did when they locked people down for like 3 weeks, and I saw afterwards, like 2022 was when I saw it strongest. I saw this cloud, and I saw where consciousness was put into a cloud, and that's when I started seeing that. I started popping out of apps, doing certain meditations. I started coming out of apps. Like, shoot, they pull up consciousness into, like, they put up this Wi-Fi or whatever, some more advanced stuff, technology, and whatever that was, pulled consciousness into this cloud, and I saw it outside of the physical. I saw the cloud. I don't see it now, but I saw it then, right? The cloud is no longer working, so they're trying to do other things because you have some people that ain't going for it, right? And because you have some people that's not going for it, that's still raising their consciousness, even though they do this stuff to a certain percentage of people, when you got one person that does to raise their frequency to a certain amount, it don't matter if they got 90% of the people in that area where you live to do whatever. If you're raising yourself to a certain vibration, you're breaking whatever's going on over there. And they know that. That's why they wanted to unalive certain people last year. Certain people were supposed to be unalived, and they probably gonna make sure they unalive these same people before this year is over, because it's stopping them from doing what they want to do. They're not controlling consciousness the way they want to, because you got some people who still rising up, that's breaking this thing, even though they could get 90% of the people in that area. If you got one person that's rising up high like that, it just shuts everything down anyway. That's just from experience, right? And so that's why some people might be getting it hard, because they trying to unalive certain people because they can't, their agenda ain't working well with some people who's raising their frequency like that. So they're gonna try to unalive you. So sometimes your life might be harder than others, when others may make it seem like, oh, it's simple, do this and do this. No, it ain't that simple. It's they trying to unalive you because you caused the problem from them, with you working on yourself and raising your frequency, you making it hard for them. So they really targeting you, getting you, trying to get you out the way, you know. Uh, yeah, I just want to say that real quick. I don't have anything else to say. I don't want to talk for too long. I just wanted to talk about that. Like, people, people, especially when I talk about the zombie apocalypse and all this stuff supposed to happen if you took the jibby jobs and the da 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 da. Okay, but you make sure that you're not a part of that collective consciousness, because whatever they do, dragging folks into CERN, you're going to go right into CERN with them, because you are a part of that collective consciousness unless you rose up to a level of frequency that's high. But if you rose up to a level of frequency that's pretty high in that area, they can't drag none of them over there. I mean, you break through it. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know what happens to the other people. I know that you won't go in there. But if even if you did not get that thing, if you're not raising up to a certain level of vibration or enlightenment, you don't have to get it. You're going wherever they go. If you're in that particular area with that collective consciousness, you're going wherever they're going. Because it's a consciousness. They trying to control consciousness. They not going to physically come to your house. And that's what people don't see what's happening. See, people are still using only 10% of their brain. Basically, they only depend on what they see in the physical. But thing is, The non-physical is where things are taking place, and and the physical realm is being manipulated from the other realm. The 90% of the brain that people still don't use, right? And so all of this stuff is going on, and they don't know it because they waiting to see some stuff happen in the physical. But I don't have anything else to say. I just want to talk about that really quickly, and I will talk to you later.